I was not expecting Complicated by Avril Lavigne to play in this movie, but it fit. Hey everyone, my name is Max Aaron James. This is a review of the movie Bottoms, written by Emma Seligman and Rachel Sennett. Sorry, mispronounced the names. It is directed by Emma Seligman. This movie is about a couple of friends who form a self-defense class just to get close to their crushes, maybe impress them, but it leads to some bonding and some camaraderie amongst the women in the school and also brings up some trouble and creates more enemies. So it's a lot of trouble and fun. This campy film is reminiscent of the 2000s or even 1990s campy films and comedies with the themes, and it sets that tone immediately and introduces us or pulls us into this surrealist world from out the gate. Within 5 minutes, you are presented and told what this movie is going to be about, and you're told how to view this movie with the color schemes and the ridiculousness of the football players always being in uniform, and the comedy and the jokes and the references and even the meta characters. So it sets this tone immediately, and you either choose to fall into it or you're not going to have a good time. I personally really enjoyed this movie, entertaining, a lot of fun, and I was laughing from beginning to end. For this movie only being 90 minutes, it is short and sweet, gets to the point, doesn't overstay its welcome, but I was so entertained that I would have been fine with another 30 minutes probably. Entering into this surrealist world, each character has their own design and color schemes, and the world, you have these very silly adults that are teachers, principals, and of the sort, and a couple parents that play into that ridiculous characters, almost satire or make poking fun at some characters from previous films. I think it's very aware of what it is, and I really appreciate that about this movie. I also really appreciated the improv and allowing every actor to improv, and every character was giving an opportunity to get the audience to laugh. They were able to riff or do some quips or tell a joke or say something that was so morbid or left field that you were just left laughing because of how confused you were. Ayo Edebiri's face acting and her reactions or responses to other characters or situations is great. And it's something that you cannot necessarily direct an actor to do or tell them ahead of time in a script. This is something that you have to know you are capable of doing. And with Emma allowing people to improv, I think this is where Edebiri was shining. And I think that's why I like her character the most. Just her facial reactions and how she would respond to certain things just felt so authentic and added to the humor. Rachel Sennett was great. I think she plays very good this kind of character, this kind of personality, and I would say she probably had a lot to do with the story and the idea, considering she co-wrote it. And I can see her possibly directing in the future or in the near future, or focusing on her own storytelling or telling her own theme. This was really good. Of the supporting actors, I think Punky Johnson stood out as playing the wingman to the lead jock on the football team. He was funny. His facial reaction was funny. The entire cast was well selected. They were all good. They all had a moment to shine. I think that it felt very authentic, and it felt like everyone had chemistry in their own way. When we finally reached the conflict of this storyline, Avril Lavigne's Complicated plays. I would say at least 2.5 minutes of the song plays. I was not expecting it, but I think this shows the personality that Rachel Sennett is, and maybe even Emma, that they, what they grew up on, and the nostalgic feeling and influence of the early 2000s, maybe late 1990s had on them and how they view the world and the type of movies they probably saw growing up. This movie not only is a simple story with a very fun experience, but I think it would be listed in the category of comfort films. There are only a few other movies that this year that I would consider to be comfort films that I actually was able to watch. I actually went in expecting to have a good time, and I left pleased, satisfied, and this may have just a little bit exceeded my expectations. Will it be in my top 10? I am not sure. It probably is in there at the moment, But I have to give it some time to digest and settle in. Anyway, did you get an opportunity to watch this movie? I mean, what did you think about it? If you haven't, I would recommend it. I mean, have a good Friday theater night. Until next time, y'all take care of each other. Be sure to check up on one another. Make sure you check up on yourself. And remember, potential has no limit.